Hello, I'm Colleen Gallagher, CEO at OnWrd UpWrd, and you're listening to the Association Insights podcast, where each week we interview association leaders from across the country to hear how they're trying new things, taking big risks, and delivering value for their members. We'll explore the realities of what it means to work in and with associations and bring you the insights and inspiration you need to advance your career and make big changes at your association. Let's get started.
Welcome back to the Association Insights podcast. I'm your host, Colleen Gallagher, and today it's going to be another solo cast where I share some information I think will be really helpful for your PR strategy. And today I want to tackle a topic that I know gets mixed reviews in the PR world: awareness days. We've all heard the critiques. They're overdone. They're just noise. They don't drive real results. But here's the truth. When done right, awareness days can be an incredibly effective strategy for associations. Today, I'm going to walk you through what doing it right actually looks like. I'll share 2 examples from recent client work, and I'll leave you with a few simple steps that your team can follow to make your next awareness day campaign worth the effort. So let's start with the elephant in the room. Why do awareness days get such a bad reputation in PR? Honestly, a lot of it comes down to how they're used. Most of the time, the media gets bombarded with the same tired press release or generic pitch sent out the day before, or worse, the day of the awareness event. There's no angle, there's no news value, and there's certainly no localization. It's just noise. And that's really a shame because when used well, awareness days can give you a built-in news peg, a reason to pitch, and a hook to tell your story in a way that's relevant and timely. At OnWrd UpWrd, we've seen awareness day strategies work again and again. But that said, it only works if you're really intentional. And that starts with 3 things. 1, choose your markets wisely. 2, localize your pitch. And 3, start early. And really, that's the cornerstone of successful PR, no matter what you're aiming to pitch. But let's break these down, and then I'll walk you through those 2 real-world examples where we use this formula to land media coverage that made a real impact. So not every market is going to care equally about every awareness day, and that's okay. The key is prioritization, whether it's based on where your members are, where you want more visibility, or whether the media is more open to these kinds of stories. Start with a handful of target markets. You can go as few as 5 to 10 at most, because that way you can truly localize your pitches. If you have more time and you can build more lists and build more local pitches, go for it. But to make it feel feasible and reasonable and actually doable, especially if you have a small comms team, that 5 to 10 is a great sweet spot. This allows you to really go deeper in each market. You can research those right outlets there, refresh your local press lists, find regional data, and pitch smarter. I'm all about working smarter, not harder. When you try to blanket the whole country with the same message, that's when you end up getting ignored. Let's talk about the power of localization. This is the biggest unlock for awareness day success. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this episode, it's this. PR isn't about the awareness days. It's about relevance. And relevance comes from localization. That could mean local data or research tied to the awareness issue, a story or quote from a member in that area, a recent or local incident that connects to the theme, or simply a connection to what's already trending in that media market. I'll give you 2 recent examples that show this in action and make it a little clearer what I'm talking about here. So we work with an association whose members are therapists. This month, September, is Childhood Obesity Awareness Month. Now, at first glance, that might seem more like a physical health topic, but we knew our client could speak powerfully about the mental and emotional toll. Here's what we did. We identified 10 key markets we wanted to reach. We refreshed our local press lists, prioritizing local broadcast media. Then we gathered childhood obesity data by state or city for each of those markets, all publicly available, but very relevant. If you have your own data about a topic, amazing. But you also don't need to. This was completely easily findable, public, credible data that we were able to cite. And it was all about the hook, not about what the story was about. We were bringing reporters in by that key stat around childhood obesity in their market. And then finally, we crafted a pitch that tied the awareness month to 2 current news stories, because newsjacking is another key strategy we always love to employ here. But we had the return of presidential fitness tests in schools in the news with school starting, and the ripple effects of GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic and how talk of those meds is trickling down to teens and even younger kids. So now we have a timely awareness hook, a fresh newsy angle, localized data, and a credible mental health expert ready to comment. The result? We had secured 2 broadcast interviews within 24 hours of our first pitch going out, one in Ohio and one in New Hampshire, with more likely to come. Here's another one. Another client that we support is in the boating safety space. For them, we use Global Drowning Prevention Awareness Day. It was a broader theme to pitch around summer boating safety. And again, we had select markets. So for this one, we had 5 target markets that represented different boating styles. So think coastal, New England, southern, inland waterways. And we had one key market for each of those types of styles. We, again, grabbed our lists, made sure they were up to date in those areas. We built these pitches using recent local boating accidents and fatalities as the hook. Again, that didn't come up in the actual story that was covered, but it was something local that they could say, hey, here's a reason that we need to be covering this. And then we use that Awareness Day to really position this as a reason to talk about drowning prevention and boating safety. The result was smart localized pitches that once again did not feel like some generic PSA copy. Instead, they gave reporters something they could actually use, a credible guest, a timely reason to talk about safety, and a clear public service message. And we ultimately landed interviews in 2 out of our 5 target markets for that one. Let's bring this home with a few practical takeaways so you can start using this strategy in your association right now. First, don't dismiss awareness days. Just refocus them. Of course, not every awareness day is a good fit, but when one aligns with your mission, your members, and your moment, it's a gift. Use it. 2, start early. Build your strategy at least a month in advance, if not further, especially if you want local broadcast. That gives you time to find data, shape the message, make your media list matter, and give them enough heads up that they can fit it into their schedule and know that it's coming. 3, think local and act strategic. You don't need to pitch every reporter in every city. Just pick the right few and tailor your outreach to make it count. 4, layer your hooks. The best pitches use a combination of Awareness Day, current events or trending news, local relevance or impact, a member or expert ready to speak. And 5, don't forget the data. Even if you don't have proprietary research, you can use CDC stats, state reports, public databases. All of these can support your angle. Remember, reporters love numbers, especially local ones. And now here's one more takeaway that often gets overlooked, but it's absolutely essential. Use the coverage you earn to power the coverage you own. Once you land that media hit, whether it's a TV segment, a local article, or a digital interview, don't just celebrate it and move on. Use it as fuel for your broader communication strategy. Here are a few ways associations can repurpose earned media to really extend its reach and reinforce member value. 1, share on social more than once. Break up that broadcast segment or article into multiple posts. Share the original hit, a quote graphic, maybe a behind the scenes photo, or a member comment reacting to it. Keep it going across LinkedIn and anywhere else you're active on social. Feature it in your next member email. Use a short, engaging write-up with a strong call to action. So see our experts in the news or watch what we had to say about XYZ issue. It's such a great way to show your members that you're out there representing their interests. You can add it to your media page or newsroom. If you don't already have one, just start a basic press page on your website. Populate it with past coverage so reporters and your members can see your credibility build over time. Include it in board or sponsor updates. These wins, They show your value to leadership and your partners. It's not just PR, it's visibility that supports retention, funding, advocacy, and brand trust for your association. At OnWrd and UpWrd, we always remind our clients that the best PR efforts, they don't end with a media hit, they're just beginning there. Your job is to keep the momentum going and integrate that exposure into the rest of your storytelling ecosystem. At the end of the day, awareness days aren't the story, but they are a great excuse to tell one. If you take the time to localize your pitch, pick the right markets, and work ahead, you'll be surprised how often you can land real media results and elevate your members and your mission at the same time. With that, thanks for tuning in to this solo episode of the Association Insights podcast. We'll be back soon with more insights, strategies, and real-world examples to help you lead with clarity, creativity, and confidence. So until next time, keep moving onward and upward.
That's a wrap for today's episode. The Association Insights podcast, previously known as the Association 100 podcast, is a production of OnWrd and UpWrd Marketing and Communications, where our mission is to make associations and nonprofits the go-to source in their industries through earned media and thought leadership. This podcast is an extension of our newsletter, a bi-monthly collection of best practices, top trends, helpful ideas, and smart strategies delivered straight to your inbox. Have you undertaken a big change at your association? Or do you have some words of wisdom from the trenches of association life? We want to hear from you, and so do our listeners. Drop us a note at info@onwardupwrd.com. That's info@onwrdupwrd.com. Be sure to subscribe, give us a 5-star review, and share with your friends and colleagues. We're available anywhere podcasts are found. Come back next week for more association insights and inspiration. Thanks for tuning in.